It's only been 2 weeks since the plans for Universal Studios Great Britain were revealed, which detail what Universal wants to do with the 476 acres of land they own just outside of Bedford. Yet, news seems to keep pouring in thick and fast, faster than most of us can keep up with, in fact. Not for the lack of trying. From archaeological trenches across the site to presentations by Universal executives, a lot has happened in a short space of time. Plus, we've also had semi-confirmation about details we previously only thought were rumours from an unlikely source. So let's not waste any time and dive right in. Actually, let's waste a little bit of time to encourage you to like, share and subscribe. It would really help the channel so I can keep covering this stuff. Right, on to the news. Just 5 short months after discovering that Universal Studios Great Britain was potentially being planned, the public consultations for the project have taken place. That's incredible progress on a project that most Brits wouldn't have even dreamed about, let alone thought they would be able to attend a meeting with Universal executives, including Paige Thompson and John McReynolds. Yet, here we are. Residents local to the site in Kempston Hardwick and a few devout theme park enthusiasts from around the country descended on Kimberley College in Stewartby and Bedford College in, well, Bedford, to hear more about what Universal has planned for the site. And it was incredibly busy. In fact, there were queues out the door. Even the Universal executives in attendance said they weren't expecting such a turnout. They also highlighted that they've never had a response from local people quite like they have in Bedford. Of course, you're never going to please everyone, but the Universal employees did their best to tackle some tricky questions and try to reassure those with concerns. We attended the event in Stewartby and there was a real buzz. Nobody in attendance was gunning for a fight and everyone listened to what Universal had to say. It all felt extremely positive, and they hopefully came away from both events feeling like they want to go ahead and won't face an uphill battle. Interestingly, during the presentation there were a few Freudian slips from both John McReynolds and Paige Thompson, as they had to correct themselves from saying "when we build" to "if we build." Is this an accidental hint towards where their decision is swaying, or maybe even towards where it's already swayed? In the next episode of USGBU Radio, still not sure on the name of that, we'll discuss the consultation in even more detail, so make sure you tune into that very soon. In the meantime, check out the Universal site, link is in the description below, and fill out the feedback form. You don't have to live within the immediate area to do so, and they're keen to hear from a wide range of people. Moving away from Stewartby to the site itself, and the feasibility study is very much still underway in the form of an archaeological survey on the southern parcel of land. And the site is littered with dozens of trenches. With a lot of the earth being clay, there will hopefully not be anything untoward, and they'll find, well, nothing, all being well. We'll see how this one progresses over the next few weeks. Meanwhile, on the northern parcel of land, it's received new fencing around the outside to keep out unwelcome folk, and the existing brickworks building has had its entrance bricked up, which is delightfully on theme. Nice work, chaps. That shows that this building won't necessarily be going anywhere anytime soon. Before we can move on to the juiciest piece of news we've heard recently, I just want to touch on a certain boy wizard related rumour, or should that be lack of boy wizard related rumour. Yes, it's rumoured that Warner Bros holds the exclusive rights to attractions in the UK, and will do so for 30 years from the opening of the studio tour in Watford. That means, unless Universal throws Warner Bros enough money, we're not likely to see anything Harry Potter related at Universal Studios Great Britain until at least the year 2042, 12 years after the targeted opening of this resort. However, fear not. Don't forget there are plenty of expansion plots, including to the south of the site, and a massive plot of land to the north. So, while it's rumoured that we won't get anything Harry Potter related to start with, there's every chance it might come at a later stage. So put those wands back in their holsters. Holsters? Is that right? Did wands go in holsters? I don't know. I'm just a filthy muggle. But for the final and most exciting bit of news, we need to take a trip away from Kempston Hardwick and over to the nearby village of Lidlington, which is a little bit further down the A421. Lidlington Parish Council has been busy at work serving Lidlingtonians, and as part of that activity they update locals on the work that they've been getting up to every month. And from that we've had some semi-confirmations following the Parish Council's meetings with Bedford Borough Council and Universal Destinations and Experiences. If you watched Alicia Stella's most recent video on Universal Studios Great Britain, and if you haven't, why not? You'll have seen that she highlighted a few rumours about hotels, City Walk restaurants and more. Well, based on the updates from Lidlington Parish Council, we might now be able to say they're a little bit more than rumours. From the Parish Council's letter to locals, we know that planning is well advanced. It will include a street area, or city walk, with at least 4 original restaurants and a 500-bed hotel. There will be a minimum of 8.5 million guests per year. Junction 13 of the M1 will be redesigned and planning is well advanced. And finally, the final decision is expected in June. This is some hugely exciting news to come from an unexpected source. Let's unpack it a little bit, shall we? We know that planning is well advanced. How could it not be if they plan to start construction in late 2025 and open by 2030? But 4 original restaurants in City Walk and a 500-bed hotel. This is the first time we've had any sort of confirmation about these numbers, and they align with the rumours reported in Alicia's video. This would put the hotel at a similar size to the Disneyland Hotel in Paris, which has 496 rooms and, coincidentally, sits over the park entrance. Something else we're now hearing for the first time is that Universal predicts 8.5 million guests per year, which would put it on par with Universal Studios Hollywood. This also sort of confirms that the park will be open year-round and won't be a seasonal park like other UK theme parks. From this, we can probably assume that there will be a lot of indoor areas, because if you've been in Britain at any time during the winter, or even during the summer, you will know that we have a lot of terrible, cold, rainy, miserable weather, so that would be most welcome. But this 8.5 million guests per year figure would absolutely decimate the UK's current busiest park, which is Legoland Windsor, which has around 2.5 million guests per year. But again, that is a seasonal park and does often close at 5 PM. The Parish Council also notes that Junction 13 of the M1 will be redesigned, which, in all honesty, is great news because that junction is a hot mess. They are going to need to make improvements to it if they're going to welcome 3 million-ish additional guests per year arriving by car. But the most exciting nugget of information to come from the Parish Council's documents relates to when Universal want to make their decision on whether or not to move forward with the project, which is stated to be in June. That means in just 2 months' time, a decision is likely to have been made about the future of Universal Studios Great Britain. This aligns with the feedback from the public consultation closing on the 3rd of May. This then gives them a month to collate the feedback to gain insight into public perception, which will then contribute towards the overall feasibility results. Whether we, the public, know the outcome of that decision around that time remains to be seen, but I would assume not, unless it turns out to be the decision that none of us are hoping for and the barriers suddenly start to disappear around the northern parcel of land. This isn't exactly information that's come straight from the horse's mouth, but because it's from local councillors who were there in attendance at meetings with Universal, and it aligns with previous rumours, we can assume they're correct. And that is hugely exciting. In June 2024, Universal will likely have made a decision about the future of this fantastic project, and prospect, not just for Bedford, but for the entire UK. So, what do you think? Will Universal choose to move ahead with this project in June? Or will the project face a similar fate to the first time they tried to build a UK resort in the early 90s? To see all of our videos as and when they hit the channel, please subscribe to the channel and engage in all of those good YouTubery ways. It would really mean a lot. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to watch some orange diggers build a hole. Actually, you can't really build a hole, can you? Dig a hole! There you go, eventually got there. See you next time.